Hey guys, it's Gray Man here, and we're back with another episode here, if you want to call them that. Thank you to everybody if you watched the first one. I really do appreciate that, and I think these discussions will benefit you because these are the discussions that people want to have that they are either being censored from having or that they don't feel comfortable in today's society with talking about. So today we're going to discuss a little bit about the concept of gray man. There's two main facets that the idea of gray man comes from. The first that comes to mind is a channel called Sandman. Now, Sandman is an exclusively MGTOW related YouTuber. He has a large following. He is a great person to go to for advisements about life, and he covers a lot of different topics related to the red pill way of living, which is basically accepting life's hardships and moving past them. And so part of it is a tribute to Sandman, because he really did, help me to understand some of the things that I had felt for a long time, but I had never really fully connected the dots on. And so, thank you to Sandman if this video ever gets his way. Now, the second is just the word gray man. You think about gray man, and instantly in my mind, I think about here in the United States, how people can carry handguns. And typically, the advice you get if you carry a handgun is to be the gray man, in a sense that you want to dress, casually. You want to dress in a way and act in a way that does not draw attention to yourself. So that way, if you ever have to use your handgun in a self-defense situation, you will not be a target, because no one will ever expect you to be the one with a handgun. And I think that principle is starting to apply to a lot different facets of life, including freedom of speech here in the United States. Now, with any type of speech nowadays, it seems that there is such a bias on most discussions, whether that's, to the left or whatever you want to call it, the liberal, crazy, weird, wacky, tobacco kind of people, taking the high ground. I think it leaves a lot of voices muted and silenced. I think it's absolutely sickening how people like Sam Hyde and Alex Jones can get censored to the point where they are not allowed on the platform. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with either one of those individuals, but you cannot silence speech. How you destroy people's poor arguments is with better speech. And so everyone has to have a voice at the table. And I like to think that the idea of gray man is all of our voice. I'm sure there's some people who will eventually view this video, or others on this channel. I'm not only the gray man, but you are the gray man. If you identify and you want to be a gray man, and you feel the same way, we are all gray man. We are all a gray man in today's society, with a silenced voice and no outlet for, saying what needs to be said. I've tried to put my face out there previously. I do not want my face out there at this point. I do not participate in social media because of the bias and the almost the repercussions, the throwback Nowadays, I think it's sickening that corporations are, 99%, large corporations are 99% of, jobs available to people in the world. And these corporations can track you down online and go on a witch hunt for anything that will, devalue you in a corporate setting. And they will basically leave you borderline homeless with no way to pay for food and your bills over your freedom of expression on the internet and your freedom of speech. And so I think it's reached a point where there is no freedom of speech, unfortunately. And I'm here to fight against that. I don't think this is just an American thing. I believe all humans, regardless of where you are, you could be in Central America, you could be in Canada, you could be in an African country, you could be in Somalia, wherever. I don't care. You deserve freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. Those are the two things I believe are human rights and should not be taken from anybody. But I digress. The concept of gray man is just that. I am nobody. I think that there's some things that need to be discussed, whether it's with just life in general or, how people truly feel inside. I think some people feel very sad and depressed, and I think the current system for, if any, for mental health and coping with things is egregious. I think that there's some things that people, especially right now in the year 2020, disagree with severely, like wearing the masks for coronavirus, the dog muzzles. And I think that there is no way for you to get your view across thanks to the censorship and the people. It's reached a point where you can't even go to your own job and be yourself because there's such a stigma against, if you're not left wing, then you are against us. And I'm not right or left. I am not a liberal or a conservative. I am a gray man. And motherfucker, our voices deserve to be heard. My voice deserves to be heard. Your voice deserves to be heard. And, I am very, very tired at this point. Because before I have even started this channel, in everyday life, I have fought this battle of, people around me in different authority positions and different, outlets of life, different avenues that individuals can take, putting a kibosh on free speech and the topics that need to be discussed. Because in the end of the day, if you work in a tire shop or you work in, let's say you're a secretary at a hospital, that's fine and dandy. But there's some important ass fucking shit that needs to be said and to be discussed. And I think the corporate world is really putting a fucking stop to it. I really do believe that, it's reached a point where productivity and efficiency are so important to these corporations and these companies that they will do anything they can to have their employees have their employees on a tight leash. And I think that goes for not only carrying firearms at work, but freedom of speech at work, and even overextending into your personal life and forcing beliefs down your throat. I think some companies are worse than others, but it's not even companies anymore. It's governments virtue signaling. It's corporations. It is even video game companies, and it's sickening. And so that's why Gray Man is here, because I want to talk about meaningful things that in your everyday life that might be boring and repetitive, or maybe it's just grown fucking old with all the same people talking about the same corporate bullshit and the same fucking politics. It's gotta end. It's gotta end. And I'm not going to put a face to it, but I don't need to. And even the cat agrees with that. I think this is an important time in history. I know it's an important time in history because people are on edge, people are rioting, but in the grand scheme of your life, none of that matters. What does matter is that you are able to get your ideas out there, and you're able to, no matter where you are in this world, pursue the things you would like. If you want to pursue owning a machine gun, you should be able to do that. If you want to make enough money and drive the fastest car you can buy, you should be able to do that. In America, we had this, and I say had because it's almost non-existent now. We had this principle of the pursuit of happiness. And it basically means, in a nutshell, if you leave everybody the fuck alone and it does not infringe on anyone else's happiness, you have the absolute right to pursue your own. And now, I don't think in a lot of areas of the world you can really pursue happiness. But I want to encourage you, and I want to make it known that you can make choices against the will of your big box employer. You can make choices against your traditional family views and your traditional societal views. You just have to make that decision. And it doesn't mean you have to be outspoken about it. It doesn't mean you have to, go on the warpath with it. If you want to chase being MGTOW, or you want to chase off-grid living, or you want to chase some non-conventional lifestyle because that's what you feel will make you happy and fulfilled, you can do it. If you put your face and your life out there, people will judge you. People who have been brainwashed, people who have been brought up with values that are not going to change. But you can be the gray man. You can have a plan to figuratively kill everyone in the room. And again, it doesn't mean you have to be a dick. It doesn't mean you have to be an asshole. But you can be a gray man. And that's really the idea of what I want here. It's okay if your society doesn't like firearms ownership. You can own firearms. You should own firearms. If your society wants you to settle down with one woman and wants you to slave away at some factory for the rest of your life until you're 69 years old, you can be the gray man. You can save up money and go to work every day with a smile and save every penny you get and you can fucking retire early. If you want to travel the world, but all anyone ever does is go back to the same old town, you don't have to. Make your money and do what you need to do. This channel is about individualism. I hope, like-minded individuals come across this. But just understand your future sovereignty and your happiness and your freedom and a slew of different things that are related are in your hands. Not every day is going to be peaches and roses, but you need to be playing the long game as a gray man. And that's what it's about. You can have everything that you want. It might not be what you expected. I'll admit that. I've had that experience a couple times while going down this path. But it's a hell of a lot better than where I came from. I've been through some shit. And the traditional, values of just living the same old bullshit and believing everything on the news and wearing your mask like a dog and going to these companies and obeying all of their privacy policies and all of their fucking corporate garbage and agreeing, there's only two genders. Or there's not only two genders. There we go. How about that? I'm having to read from a script. Maybe you've done some of these things. Maybe you've had some of this sexual harassment training and shit like that shoved down your throat. Maybe you've been taught to play the victim by your work. Maybe you've been told if there's a mass shooter, you need to get under the table and hide like a fucking rat. This channel is about being an individual. Do not play these games without the end in mind. Figure out where you need to be and then play the gray man and get to where you need to be. And again, you don't have to be an asshole, but with that in mind, it's never a bad idea to get with other gray men, to get with other MGTOW, to get with other people on the same page as you, and maybe then you can have some of these discussions. But for me, this is a good starting point to get these ideas out there.